California still, enjoying life in beautiful San Jose. Tomorrow we are going to go to Santa Cruz for Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is our biggest day of eating in the entire year, Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the Thanksgiving Day. And what do you do in that day besides
We just
the dinner?
eat, we cook and eat. That's
Eat,
it. Yeah.
but that takes only 1 or 2 hours. What do you
No,
do?
no, 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 senor.
No?
No, it takes maybe 3 to 5 hours. Big meal.
Big meals, and what do you do the other hours of the day?
Lots. Oh, the other hours of the day we prepared that meal.
Okay, and then you talk about the dinner.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tomorrow night, well, tomorrow night I'll be teaching Colingo when my friends have dinner, but I will eat after they are finished.
Okay.
Yeah,
For example, in my country, Navidad is a big party,
yeah,
like a training for New Year party.
uh-huh,
Yeah. At the end, everybody's drinking in Christmas. You
yeah,
know if it's the same in Thanksgiving Day?
yeah. People do drink a lot. I think it's drinking is one of those things that happens all the time. Unfortunately, it's a problem because some people drink a little too much when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Also, I think there's a lot of drinking, but generally, because it's time to be with family, I think the adults maybe drink after the main meal because they don't want to get drunk in front of their family members, you know.
Uh, but there's a party maybe?
Yeah, there are parties all the time. Yeah, people are throwing dinners and parties everywhere tomorrow, and everybody eats turkey. Tomorrow is the day of turkey.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know. And that's
Yeah.
why you eat turkey in Christmas? Or
Turkey, yeah, we also eat turkey during Christmas time. Some people eat turkey during Christmas also. But the idea is generally that you know, you some people joke that the leftover turkey from Thanksgiving is what we will serve at Christmas time.
yeah, it makes sense. I thought that you eat turkey in Christmas because there are many turkeys that have not been killed in Thanksgiving Day, and maybe they are cheaper. That's why you started to eat turkeys in Christmas many years
Yeah,
ago, and now it's a tradition.
yeah, it's Jose, I would not be surprised if that actually was how it was established. I would not be surprised at all because that they do have that situation. They do have that does happen a lot where certain things become a trend and then they just develop into some kind of a tradition,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
and yeah, we copied that tradition from US to eating turkey in Christmas.
Hmm.
Yes, and we don't have a Thanksgiving Day, so we don't have a rest of another party before,
Yeah,
so we
but
copied.
But
Yeah.
you know, Jose, unfortunately, this celebration has become more of a commercial celebration than anything else. I mean, it used to be that Thanksgiving was the unofficial start of the holiday season in the United States. It still is, right? Because there's only about 1 month left until Christmas, and there is maybe there's less than 1 month left after Christmas, and just barely a month and a few days until the new year, right? So Thanksgiving was kind of the kickoff of the academic or academic. What am I saying? Of the holiday season.
Okay.
So for many years, Thanksgiving was considered to be the time when you start shopping for Christmas, right? But now, because it's such a commercialized holiday, right? People are there. The day after Thanksgiving is known as Black Friday, and it doesn't have a bad meaning. It's the day that everybody shops, right?
Okay.
I don't know why they call it black. It's the day that all of the stores, they have super discounts, everything, 50% off, 75% off, the best electronics, all of this stuff, right? And the now recently after the internet revolution, The Monday following Thanksgiving, so next Monday, is considered the Cyber Monday. It's considered Cyber Monday,
Really?
right?
Cyber Monday?
Cyber Monday, yeah, because it's, cyberspace, all about shopping online. So all of the big
Oh, okay.
stores, yeah, so all of the big stores that have Black Friday, right? They also do amazing deals on Cyber Monday.
Oh, I've heard about Black Friday, but this is the first time that I've heard Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday, I mean, it's all commercial. It's all commercial. So what you can get for $35 on a normal day, they will sell for $5 on Cyber Monday.
Oh, maybe I can take a look to eBay next
Yeah,
Monday. Yeah, maybe
absolutely.
I
You're gonna
might
save a
save
lot of
something.
money.
Yeah, I might save some money. Maybe
Yeah.
I can save some money. Oh well, we have copy Santa Claus as well,
Papa
and
Noel, right?
yes, Papa Noel. But Papa Noel is in summer here with
Uh-huh.
those heavy clothes with a shiny sun. Can you imagine
Oh, horrible.
those poor Papa Noels and all the moles? They're they're having a bad time,
Yeah.
but they have to work.
Everybody needs money for Christmas.
Oh yeah, yes,
Yeah.
and policemen as well.
Yeah.
Those policemen ruling the transit.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the most dangerous here. It's not in your country that they ask for money when you break a rule when you're driving.
People ask, I don't know if cops can ask for bribes in the United States.
Ah, bribe. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can. They would lose their job if that happened. They would lose
Okay.
their job. So, and policemen actually get paid pretty well here,
Oh
I
well,
think.
that's your country. My country is a national sport. Yeah, doesn't matter if they um, what they do is to it's like they have another salary by their bribes.
Really, it's that bad in Peru?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
What would happen if you refuse to give them a bribe? Like, let's say you get pulled over, the cop says, can I, Jose, Senor Jose, I will imagine this never happened if you give me 200 soles.
Okay. No, it's not that much. Maybe the ticket might be maybe, for example, 200. Yeah, 200 soles. It's okay. 200 soles.
I know
But
Jose
the bribe
because I'm a
yeah,
police in
okay.
Peru, that's why.
Yeah, the bribe um it's for 10 soles maybe or 20 soles.
It's
You
not
can
that
bribe
much.
the
It's not that
yes.
much.
Yeah, the ticket is 200 soles and the bribe is 20 soles, maybe 10
Uh-huh.
soles, 10, 20 soles. But they do that all the day. Maybe 20, 30 people in a day.
So they can become very rich.
Yes, and we have caught and read some of them, but it's like a plague.
What
It's
happens if you
everywhere.
what happens if you catch them red-handed? What happens to them?
And they will be persecuted, and there will be a process and a trial that usually happens nothing. A very low very low, how to say, the
Yeah,
decision.
the decision. Well, so they have the trial, and the person is tried on the basis of the bribery law, right? Because
Yep.
they violated the law against bribery, and then the decision is usually.
Yeah, it's no, but recently, these last years, it has changed a lot. The punishment is strong. For example, these days they have punished one police with 6 years in jail, and he lost his job.
Mhm.
But it is not common. The most common is to receive is to accept the bribe. So it is not nothing that it's not that he will tell you very open. It's like a
Mhm.
routine. When the police approach to you, he will tell you that you have made something wrong, and you say, "But how can we fix this? Is there any solution?" And he will say, "Well, maybe I can help you. You know that you have to take some money. You already have to have some money in your hands to make the
Yeah, yeah.
movement very fast. It's very fast. They're already trained with those movements."
It's crazy. I mean, it doesn't. I know this happens in my country also, in Bangladesh and India. It happens all the time. But I didn't think that it was going to be something that affected people in South America, people in Peru, because it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I thought there was more. I thought the corruption was less. You know.
Well, it depends. For example, you can, if you cross the border line, you go to Chile, our neighbor, another country.
Mhm.
Many people from Peru that they are the worst drivers ever.
Mhm.
Once they cross the line, when already they're already in Chile, they become the best drivers in the world. Their behavior is like a pussycat. They follow all the rules. They don't destroy anyone. It's because in that country they don't accept bribes. Or surely they accept, but it's not like in my country. It's very different. You
Uh-huh.
might go to jail if you dare to offer some bribe to an officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess different countries have different methods. Do you know, maybe in Colombia, is it similar? Do you know, Jose, if it's
Uh,
bad?
I don't know how it's in Colombia. Don't know, but surely it's not worse than my country.
Really? Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, Jose. I feel like, were you ever put in a situation in which you had to make a decision like that with a policeman or something like that?
Yeah, but not about driving.
Hmm.
But for example, when I made a complaint for because we were in a trail, people had I demanded or accused, and of course the police said, "Oh well, but we are very busy. We have something to do," and so I had to give some money them to take care
To
of my
actually
complaint.
to actually take care of the situation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens every day in Bangladesh, every day. They don't even look at the paper that you submitted to them until you give them money.
Yes, that's what happened in my case. But I had the chance to not to pay them. But if I had made that, I would have spent much more time. Would be worse. I would have been in a worse situation.
Hmm.
So well, I had to pay anyway. It's not too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not was not too much. Was not a high quantity. I mean, was not a case involve criminals, not such a thing. But I had to pay anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean, Jose. It's I hope things get better, you know. I mean, South American neighbors, Chile and Peru, I mean, I know there are differences in society, but if it can be done in one country, then surely the Peruvian people also are upset that this is happening, right? So maybe with time things will get better for the people of Peru as well, right? I don't like seeing corruption anywhere, right? I mean, it's unfair. Maybe it's also unfair to the police that they are making very little money, right?
Oh yes. And when we say in the future, I mean maybe a generation. It's not I think no, it's not an item that will change in a few years because we need a new generation. and
Mhm.
when we talk on a generation, it's about 20 years.
Mhm.
So I hope in the next generation things change for better.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, we have to hope. We have to hope, Jose. So
Yeah, and I heard that our generation will live at least 100 years.
really.
91, yes, because of the science. It's moving on or advance
Mhm.
of the science.
Mhm.
And 90, 100 years and healthy, not such a not as a vegetable, no, not that way. It's in a healthy way.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. We have an amazing amount of potential in this century, I think, to live longer than any other generation in history, right?
Yeah,
Although some people say that some countries, like the United States, because of the culture here, the life expectancy will not increase for people who have chronic illnesses or people who get diabetes or people who get, I mean, excuse me, Greg. Excuse me,
uh,
Jose. I mean,
that's
uh,
okay.
whenever we think about these situations, right, it makes me think that we do have a lot of, for example, obese people in the United States, right? We have a very overweight population. People like that, I don't think are going to be living 91. But if you are a healthy person now and you maintain good health, then the sky is the limit in terms of how much time you might have on this planet, you know?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. If you're already living unhealthy, then it's not going to make a difference, right?
Oh no, no, it's doesn't worth the pain to live 100 years. But if you're gonna be laying in the bed all the time and you cannot move, you cannot do anything by yourself, that doesn't worth the pain. No, it's not. I wouldn't like to live that way. And
Exactly.
and what I heard that the problem if we live many years, there will be a very bad economic situation because there will be not enough money to maintain those the people who are already retired and receive money when they don't work. What's the
Mhm.
name for that people? Retired people?
Retired people, yeah,
Oh yeah,
se dice los jubilados, ¿no?
yes, jubilados. Yeah,
Jubilados,
retired
ajá.
people. There will be many retired people, and there will be no enough money. The system will collapse, and they will manage that situation with inflation.
Mhm.
So the pension or the money will or the amount that we receive will be frozen.
Mhm.
So we will receive what they told us what we are gonna be to receive. But because of the inflation, that money will lose their value.
So
So
we're gonna
that's
receive nothing.
yeah, that's and I heard. Do you remember there was a politician in Korea, I think, or in Japan? Don't remember. There was
Uh-huh.
a prime minister or a minister begging the retired people to die at once. Why
Really?
don't you? Yes, because they
I hadn't
were.
heard about this.
Yeah, I don't remember it was Korea or Japan or in some
Uh-huh.
place. He was explaining that there are many retired people and they live too long. They have a very long life. So they beg, why don't you die already?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was very controversial what
Yeah,
he was
there's
saying.
how can we say that to people, right? I mean, if they have lived that long, then they deserve to live as long as God has written that down for them, as
Uh,
as long as it is in their destiny.
oh yeah, but I heard many apocalyptic versions like for that situation, the economic situation that we will have. And there are people saying, well, it's like a joke that at the end we're gonna eat to each other. Sounds like
Zombies, zombies
yeah,
will say, right?
yeah, yeah. No, because there will be many people and not enough resources. The economy will collapse, and you won't have anything to eat. So we will get back to the law of the jungle or jungle law.
Law of the jungle. Law of the
Law
jungle.
of the jungle.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, it's crazy when we think about stuff like that because I have hope in humanity that we will never, ever, ever descend to that level of chaos and that level of savagery, right? Because if we are savages, you know, si somos salvajes, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I
Savages.
like to one of the things I like to one of my friends we studied Spanish literature together and we used to read what the Spanish people what the people from Spain said about the Native American people in the in the Western world. And sometimes they would write, you know, that these people are the salvajes, these are the savages
Oh,
of the new world, right? And
yeah.
it's a very derogatory way because, I mean, the Native Americans of the Americas were among the most civilized of many civilizations, right? They were among the most civilized. The Incas, the Aztecs, right? Amazing
Yeah.
civilizations. But in the eyes of the Europeans, they were considered savages, right?
Oh, yes. But
So I'm not talking about that kind of savage. I'm talking about that animal savagery that, you know, maybe thousands of years ago or millions of years ago when we were still walking around in the jungle naked, you know, we had to follow jungle, you know, we had to follow the rules, the law of the jungle, right?
oh, yeah.
I hope we don't get to that level.
Not again. No, no, thank you.
Not again, exactly, exactly. Hey Ken, how's it going, man? Welcome.
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. I was just going to ask, so we were talking about different things actually, Ken, and we were wondering, maybe you know about this because you came at just the right time as we were thinking about this idea. Jose and I were talking about longevity, right? Sometimes people live to, you know, it's said that this generation, our generation, will live maybe up to the age of 91 on average, right? And Jose said that there was a politician, maybe in Korea or in Japan, who announced that if somebody is reaches a certain age, they should be killed because they have lived a long life already and they don't need to live anymore. Have you heard about this at all, Ken? I was
I
wondering.
don't know. Japanese politician says so.
Maybe it was Korean
Maybe
then.
if he did says so, it's gonna be a big problem
Yeah.
here.
Because Japan has a lot of old people, right?
Yes,
Japan
and
has a
they
yeah.
support actual politician who get Congress because uh, youngsters nowadays don't vote,
Uh-huh.
and the ballot rate is getting lower, and population of youngsters is you know maybe the age of 60s is what they were the baby boomers, so they influenced a lot on Japanese politics because they vote and the population itself they are huge compared with
Uh-huh.
youngsters.
Uh-huh. But you know, Jose just shared the link with us. Jose, what do you have to say to Ken?
Well, this is a news that I heard a few months ago, but well, I'm not. I haven't read. I'm just reading in this moment. So
Yeah.
was very controversial and impressive to hear that. Prime Minister asking their people to die was very impressive, at least for me.
Yeah. No, it does look like it was a Japanese minister, Ken. The guy's name is Taro Aso. He's the finance minister.
Yes, and I'm looking for the quotation. Well, it's among the
He said something like, "The problem won't be solved unless you let them hurry up and die."
oh yeah 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 here's
It's
yes
it's two paragraphs below the photo actually, Ken. The last sentence and two paragraphs below the photo, next to the Twitter symbol.
oh yeah, yeah, he's a former prime minister.
Former
Stupid.
former prime minister, or was he the finance minister, Ken? Do you know?
Former
Former prime
prime minister,
minister.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Wow.
But he was pretty unpopular.
He was unpopular.
Yeah, and
Was it
he came from this area. He is an influential figure, kind of his father is a owned a company, corporation, kind of very conservative type. I don't like him actually.
That's interesting. Did he become unpopular after he said this, or was he always unpopular, do you think, Ken?
Because he led the LDP at the end and the very last period.
Uh-huh.
But
That's
mm-hmm.
no, it's so cool for me that this guy can actually say this. Let them hurry up and die, you know? It doesn't make sense.
Because it's a private issue. It's a kind of many people suffered in hospital, and some people want to trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I really hate this kind of statements,
Mm-hmm.
especially from this kind of politically. He has a political power, even though
Mm-hmm.
he left the prime minister,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
and if I wonder, he can say that for his parents or his grandma, the same thing. The
Yeah,
same thing
right.
happens.
Absolutely, right. Can he tell his own family something like this? And he's telling the country, but can he do that to his own family, right? It's always a good thing to, uh,
Because,
I
you know,
guess, ask yourself, right?
he has a lot of money, so he can choose anything for his family or for himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that big corporation own this area.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right, politicians with money, they are in a separate category from the rest of us, right? If they have money and they have power, then they are just different people. Unfortunately, that's how society sees them.
Mm,
Uh, But in any case, guys, thank you both for joining so much. I know we talked a lot about some great things, and in the process of actually talking about these topics, we covered what we were going to talk about today. So I wanted to just discuss adjectives, right? What are adjectives in English, guys? This is something that is you guys are much higher level than the level of this class, so it's a high beginner level class. But adjectives are words that describe a noun. We can use adjectives when we are talking about people, places, things, right? Any kind of noun. Um, we can say this minister is misguided. This minister is rich. We can say old people are facing challenges, difficult challenges all over the world, right? So the word old is an adjective. The word difficult is an adjective, right? We use them many, many, many ways, and we are talking when we talk about adjectives, right? The one thing I wanted to mention a little bit more um, in depth was that they do have an order if we have more than one adjective in a sentence, right? So, for example, if the order of how we list adjectives in a sentence when we are talking about multiple ones is actually this order. So, it's an opinion, then it's a dimension, then it's an age, then it's a shape, then it's a color, origin, material. So we can say the old circular red wooden table, right? The old circular red wooden table, right? So we have the age first, old, then the shape, circular, color, red, origin or material, wood, right? Wooden, and then table, right? So we do have that specific order when we're talking about more than one adjective, but in general, I think you guys understand what adjectives mean. Any questions on what an adjective is, guys?
mm, mm.
Makes sense?
No, but
Yeah.
it's difficult to use without thinking.
Yeah, if we have this order, yeah, usually we don't use that many adjectives when we're speaking about something. Usually we use one or two, right? So it's
Okay.
it's more
Yeah.
it's more it's more that we can use when we think about, like, you can choose. That's the order that you have to follow, but you don't have to have all of these in a sentence, right?
Mhm.
You can just have two. You can have just age. Let's say you have opinion. No, let's say you have dimension and opinion, right?
Mhm.
So you would say opinion first. You would say the ugly 3D picture,
Mhm.
right? So you would say your opinion, the ugly, right, or the beautiful. That's an opinion. It's not something that we can establish as a fact, right? So that's how we would make those types of sentences. And then yeah, that's really, I mean, it's pretty much just that, right? We don't need to have too many adjectives, but when we do, we follow a certain order, right? Jose, what about you? Did you have any questions about that?
Not really. Understand?
Make sense? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys then. Today, our article is actually focusing on drought, right? What is a drought, guys?
There's no rain.
Yeah, a period of no rain, right? A period of no rain. So when we talk about the word drought, right, we are talking about a period of no rain that can have a very difficult effect, a very big impact on farming, a big impact on entire communities and on the economy of many societies in the world, actually. And sometimes drought leads to famine. What is famine, guys? The word famine.
Hunger.
You cannot eat.
Yeah, when there's a period of people that are starving because they do not eat, they cannot eat, right? So hunger and famine, right? A period of prolonged hunger. So a drought is a period of no rain, and a famine is a period of prolonged hunger, right? People are hungry to a ridiculous extent, and they're not getting the food that they need, right? So are there any parts of your countries, guys, that get droughts regularly? There are many parts of the United States that are currently going through a drought, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But in Japan or in Peru, Jose, are there places that have drought normally?
Well, the entire coast is a very long desert or desert. Is
Mm-hmm.
desert?
Desert.
Desert. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we have two S's, it becomes dessert,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is what you eat. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
otherwise, it's just desert.
it's a desert,
Yes.
but we have irrigation, so there is no. We can live in this area, and we can produce or we can have farms. But there are, for example, places that in the phenomenon of the boy of the child
Mm-hmm.
when it's
El
on
Niño.
summer. El Niño
The phenomenon of the child. Ha!
or
That's really good.
El Niño, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. There are places that can were used to have a rain, and suddenly we have a drought. Another
Mm-hmm.
places that we have a flooding or heavy rains when it's supposed not to have rain. So
Mm-hmm.
it's complicated. Not only
Mm-hmm.
for the rain itself, but because the place is not adapted to receive rain.
Mm-hmm.
So any rain is very
Welcome, right?
dangerous. I would say dangerous. For
Dangerous,
example,
actually. Oh,
no,
okay.
in a city that where it doesn't rain, the city is not adapted for the rain, and in
Uh-huh.
this phenomena there's a heavy or a very long rain, so it's the city might get flooding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's very interesting. And are there areas that have famine regularly in Peru? I don't think so.
Um, Famine, not really. There, we have a problem in distribution, and when there's some natural disaster, we have to help the people because we have to take some food, some clothes. But I think there's not in general famine, extreme famine like we can see in Africa and some places of
Mm-hmm.
Africa. But,
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
but we have many poor areas.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, interesting. Thanks for sharing all of that, Jose. Um, Ken, what about in Japan? I don't think Japan has any periods of drought, or do they?
Yeah, usually drought don't happen in Japan, but when I was a kid, irregular drought happened in this area. remember at the beginning, tap water, so the water pressure reduced. So and then maybe 1 hour we couldn't use tap water, or 1 hour expands 3 hour, 4 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, at that time, my family, stocked the water in the bucket or bathtub, like that. Especially, inconvenient happen in the toilet. I mean, the restroom. you know.
Of
So
course, I could
uh,
imagine. Yeah.
people who live in high apartment in the fifth floor of the apartment, or water pressure is not enough to reach. So in that case, they maybe they couldn't use tap water at all for the and bring some water to the school, because school tap water is the same station. Yeah,
hmm
it was tough experience.
I bet, I bet. And
Mm.
how long did that last?
Maybe almost 6 months or so, several months, I guess.
6 months?
But the worst period, tap water stopped. It
Oh
happened
wow.
gradually. Water pressure reduction and 1 hour saving time, or yeah,
What was
something
the
like that.
cause of that?
Maybe I don't know, climate. At that time,
Really?
yeah, it's maybe it was the only experience for me. And usually, Japan is an island nation, so and a lot of water and lakes and mountains. So usually, serious drought that don't happen here.
And I'm assuming also that there is no famine really, right?
Mm. Uh, in the past, yeah, because it's famine happened in the and right after or during or right after the World War II, severe famine happened because of the war.
hmm But since then, Japan has of course been a very prosperous nation. So there's been nothing like a famine since
So
then.
my generation never experienced such famine. Yes.
hmm Interesting, interesting. Well, in the United States, it's actually vastly different, guys. It's a large country with a lot of areas that have different climate zones and experience different kinds of climate as a result of those differences. And we do have a situation in the United States now where there is quite a lot of famine happening, right? And this article that we are looking at today is actually it's talking about explaining the famine to kids, right? Explaining the famine to children, because I think maybe as Ken was talking about, right, it's difficult to explain something like that to kids because they might not understand why are people going crazy over things like food. Why is society changing so differently, right? So we don't have a ton of time, but there's the article, guys. I'm going to take a quick look. We're going to take a quick look at the article, read some of these pieces about what it means to explain famine in words that people can understand, right? Especially children. So let's take a look, guys. What is happening in the United States when it comes to drought and famine, especially drought, and what can we do to figure out the situation, right? So let's see. Explaining the drought to kids, right? If you're thinking that this has been an extremely hot and extremely dry summer, you are right. But as bad as the heat has been here in our mid-Atlantic region, so the mid-Atlantic region, guys, are, for example, Ken, I believe you said you went to Georgia. Uh, Georgia is included in that mid-Atlantic region. So
I see.
Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina,
Mm,
Virginia, all of those states are considered in the mid-Atlantic, right?
mm,
So as bad as the heat has been here in our mid-Atlantic region, there has been so little rain and so much heat in other parts of the country that they are experiencing a drought, you know. And
mm,
what is a drought? Well, it's a very long period. It can be months or even years with no rain or other types of precipitation, right? Uh, Drought rhymes with out, as in without rain, so they're trying to be cute here. This drought that we are facing in the United States is actually affecting as much as two-thirds of the country,
mm,
right? A huge territory. And about 20% of the country is experiencing the most severe types of drought, right? Experts at the U.S. Drought Monitor, which keeps track of these things, says this is the worst drought the country has experienced in more than 50 years, right? So it's actually been very, very warm winter, a very, very warm summer, and even the winter, even though we're getting storms tomorrow, I think there's still a lot of areas have not received snowfall or enough rainfall, this year. So, and with the long-term forecast, yeah, so this is exactly what they're saying. And with the long-term forecast calling for little rain and lots of heat for the rest of the summer, the situation isn't likely to get better anytime soon. So this article is a little bit older. So it was talking about the summer being a time when possibly you would have maybe some rain, but the forecast was saying this was not the case, right? So realistically, the forecast going forward is a continuation of warm, dry conditions through the end of August easily, and we may see them in the fall as well, right? So as it turned out, the fall in this country this year has been a very warm fall. It has been a very warm fall. I haven't experienced a crazy fall temperature since I left Wisconsin. Even in Wisconsin, things were not extremely crazy, right? So there are a few reasons for why we should be concerned about a drought, guys. Before I move on to these reasons, though, do you guys have any questions about the first part? This part right here that we read so far. No questions, guys? It makes sense?
Yes.
Okie doke. So just wanted to talk about three of the big reasons why droughts are bad, right? So number one, droughts are actually, they can lead to water limits, right? And specifically in the United States, people in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., right? They aren't facing limits on when, how, and how much water they can use. But this is not true in every part of the country, right? So, for example, this newspaper is from Washington, D.C., so they're saying in this area, Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., people are not being told to save water. But in other states, excuse me, such as Illinois, Nebraska, Oklahoma, right, these states, people are being told to conserve water, right? So it's actually the people are being told save your water, don't waste it, right? And drought conditions can make wildfires a lot worse, right? So this is also the time of the year when we see these huge fires in California, in Colorado, in Arizona, in many of the western states in the United States, in the mountains. You see these wildfires start. Maybe one or two. One small fire can grow into a massive fire if the trees are dry and if the temperature is correct, then they can grow into huge wildfires, right? With so much of the country's land so dry, fires start and actually spread more quickly, right? So that's another one of the reactions. And droughts can also cause the price of food to rise. Right? Droughts can also cause the price of food to rise. Farmers who grow corn and soybeans, especially these two crops, right? And these two crops are extremely profitable, and a lot of land in the United States is used for corn and soybeans, right? So farmers who grow corn and soybeans have actually lost a lot of their crops because there hasn't been enough rain. So a lot of these crops have actually died, right? And there's, what does this do? This causes the price of the food to rise. So once we have less corn, then the price goes up, right? It's a law of supply and demand. This is explaining to children, so it's a little bit less. So that's actually all I wanted to mention, because the rest of this is actually pretty much basic stuff. But does it surprise you guys that there's been such a transformation in the drought conditions in the United States that 2/3 of the country is actually facing a drought right now? Does that come as a surprise?
Sorry,
Sounds a
what?
great area.
Oh, I'm
Very
sorry,
big
Jose.
area. No, it sounds like a very big area.
Yeah, it's a huge area, right? It's 2/3, so millions of square miles.
Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than my country.
Yeah, it's larger than Peru. Maybe the size of 6 or 7 Perus.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's happening because we have this situation where it's not easy in many parts of the country, in the center of the country, actually, Nebraska and those states where they grow a lot of corn. It's actually not easy to. They have irrigation, but there's so much land that without even the water for irrigation is now restricted because the rivers are not that full of water. You know what I mean? So the problem is actually compounding in many different areas, right? Uh, and what's interesting about the cost of food? Have you guys noticed, for example, if the cost of food increases in the United States, does it also increase in your countries? Do you guys know?
Yes, I think so because Japan imported a lot of corn for produce chicken or you know the cow. It,
Mm-hmm.
that cost reflect to our price of the price of the food here as well.
Exactly,
Kind
exactly,
of
right.
not so many direct important thing imported food, but indirectly we rely on American crops. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, right, absolutely. And what about in Peru, Jose? Do you guys import a lot of American food or self-sufficient? Are you guys self-sufficient?
No, no, we import many products, and as you say, well, it's the globalization, they
Mm-hmm.
say. Yeah, what
Mm-hmm.
happens in US affects everybody. What happens in China affects everybody. What happens in Peru doesn't affect anyone. That's globalization. Yeah, but we can feel that problem. For example, the price of the food that now in corn. Talking about corn, now it's dedicated to produce some kind of oil. Uh, I forgot the name, and that's why the price is increasing
Mm-hmm.
in your country, and that affects my country. In my country, we use corn only for food.
Mm-hmm.
Increase the price of the food, the price of chickens as well, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's
It's like a chain reaction almost, right, Jose? So one thing
yeah, yes,
happens
that's
here.
what I was looking for.
Uh-huh.
I was looking for the words.
Chain
Chain
reaction.
reaction.
Uh-huh, exactly
Chain
right.
reaction. Yes.
So one thing happens here, and just like the beads on a string or the links on a chain, it affects everybody downstream, right? We can say it affects everybody downstream. So everybody, America is here or Canada is here, and whatever happens, it affects everyone downstream. So it's a very difficult kind of situation, guys,
Yeah.
because when we think about it, you know, what what do you guys think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jose.
Oh no, I was type down the ethanol. The is the fuel that
It's the fuel, yeah.
is the fuel produced with corn.
And do you guys use this fuel for cars?
No, we use gasoline, oil, petroleum,
Hmm.
and natural gas.
Interesting, interesting. But so ethanol is used for cooking then?
Not really. No, no. We only have for cooking. We use gas.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that comes with some balloons or and natural gas. That it's brand new. It's a new resource of energy that we have. Natural gas.
Interesting. Yeah, when my parents lived in Saudi Arabia, when I was very young, I remember that my dad and his friends would go and buy a large thing of gas, like a big container, and they would bring it into the house. And every month or 2 months, they would roll out this gas, and they would bring a new gas canister, a big canister, into the house.
Yeah,
Uh,
we still use that here.
you guys still use that? Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I remember I was a little kid and I was telling my dad, I want to help you with that. And he said, do you know how big this is? This is 20 times you, you know, I mean, it's very big, you know. I was maybe 3 years old and I just watched him carry, you know, him and his friends, he would carry the big canister back and forth. So it was nice for me. I miss that, actually, you know.
I don't.
Sorry, Jose. I know I'm being. I think I'm being a little silly, but you know,
No, no, don't worry.
I'm a
No,
little.
no.
I'm a little nostalgic about those years. You know.
Yeah, well, maybe in a few years I will miss as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand completely. What other thing is happening here? So, one other thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, what should countries do? You know, what can other countries do when a situation when a country okay when the United States has a drought or a famine? We don't actually have famines here either, right? I mean, we have individual people or individual communities that go hungry, right? But we don't have widespread areas that are affected by famine, right? But when we see, for example, famines affecting countries in Africa or in Asia, what can other countries do to prevent to help people who are affected by drought or by famine? What can we do, guys? Some ideas
To prevent?
to help people who are
Oh,
affected by drought or famine. Yeah.
maybe we can give some good reliefs if we have the chance. And now we can do that everywhere we are. In my country, we do that, and I don't know how, but it finally will arrive to those areas,
Mhm.
for example.
Mhm.
And I don't know what else. Maybe don't waste food, for example. It's a little grain of sand. Is that
It's,
correct? That
uh, don't lose don't lose food. It's a little grain of sand. What do you mean by that, Jose?
uh, for example, to grain by grain, you will have a great amount of sand. It's an expression that we use in Spanish.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if there is a direct translation in English. I guess like save everything you can.
Yeah, or everything
Save
that
it.
counts.
Save as much as you can of everything that
Yeah,
counts. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. For example, I remember when I was a child. Surely everybody have heard this from their moms, when they say, "Do you know how many poor children don't have anything to eat? How lucky you are, do you know?"
Yeah, my mom said that to me. My mom still says that to me.
Yeah, all the moms say that, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
why don't you eat your vegetable? Why don't you eat your soup? Everything.
yeah,
So I think that to give good reliefs, and to prevent it's another great discussion.
uh-huh.
But at least if you want to do something to provide some good reliefs, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. And Ken, what else can be done for people with famine who are affected by famine or drought? How can the international community help them?
Mm, Actually, maybe the uh, kind of aid.
Uh-huh.
If serious farming happens, maybe aid, direct aid is very
Mm-hmm.
helpful temporarily. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, maybe searching for the reason of the famine, why
Mm-hmm.
famine happens, because of the type of the way of agriculture there, or because of the climate pattern, or because of the maybe uh,
Mismanagement.
mismanagement is maybe
Mm-hmm.
they might produce kind of the food for the cow in or such kind of uh, importing
Mm-hmm.
food.
They can
Yeah,
import the food, the feed for the cattle, the feed for the cows or
yeah.
chickens. Uh-huh.
So ultimately, it's the problem of a lot of meat consuming was eaten in all the world.
Hmm.
That that reflects such unbalance issue too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a kind of
yeah.
long-term support.
Yeah, but we need to look at the long term, guys. Honestly, for something like this, it's important to
Mhm.
see the long term effect of what we are doing, right? Global warming in many ways is blamed for massive problems with the world's food supply,
And
right?
other issue, the reason of the famine is a war or unstable kind of politics there.
That
Yeah,
also causes, yeah, and that often leads to mismanagement, right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, guys. Well, guys, I was just thinking about what we looked at. We looked at adjectives in the earlier in this class, but really we spent the most of the class in conversation and talked a lot about different things, different ideas, drought and famine. I don't know what they're doing in the United States to help these people or these areas that are affected by drought. I don't think they're doing much because people just go to the supermarket and buy food from the remaining one-third of the country that doesn't have drought, you know. But the two-thirds of the country that does have drought is, I'm not sure. We are expecting a lot of snow tomorrow, but snow, of course, is not the same as rain. So now we don't have the weather to grow anything. Hopefully, in the next few months to the next maybe 2014 will be a better year for the agriculture in this country. But I don't know. Global warming is actually having big effect is having a big effect on what we can do when it comes to food, unfortunately. So, in any case, guys, any questions about the class today, or any vocabulary words that we looked at, or the topics that we discussed? Anything at all? Jose, anything? I think you're listening
Uh,
intently.
no, no, I was just listening.
Uh-huh.
But no, no questions.
Okay, awesome, guys. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, though, I always look forward to getting messages from students. And on Facebook, I haven't found messages from many students recently. But if you guys do have any questions anytime, let me know. If you guys think the articles are boring, hey, Farhan always chooses something about fast food, always chooses something about global warming, North Korea. We're bored of this. Uh, I want to hear those kinds of reactions or those kinds of feedback too. So always let me know if there's any way I can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, guys. Well, take care. And I have a bunch of classes tomorrow, even though it's Thanksgiving. I will be
Oh,
here
yeah.
for class. So if,
Yeah.
if, there, if nobody shows up, maybe I'll be eating dinner as I am teaching class. So I hope to see you guys soon then, tomorrow especially.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you
Thank
very
you as
much.
well.
See you.
Alrighty. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. And policemen as well.
Yeah.
Those policemen ruling the transit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the most dangerous here. It's not in your country that they ask for money when you break a rule when you're driving.
People ask. I don't know if cops can ask for bribes in the United States.
Ah, bribe. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can. They would lose their job if that happened. They would lose
Okay.
their job. So, and policemen actually get paid pretty well here,
Oh
I
well,
think.
that's your country. My country is a national sport. Yeah, doesn't matter if they um, what they do is to it's like they have another salary by their bribes.
Really, it's that bad in Peru?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
What would happen if you refuse to give them a bribe? Like, let's say you get pulled over, the cop says, can Jose, Senor Jose, I will imagine this never happened if you give me 200 soles.
Okay. No, it's not that much. Maybe the ticket might be maybe, for example, 200. Yeah, 200 soles. It's okay. 200 soles.
I know,
But
Jose,
yeah, the
because I'm a
bribe
police.
is
Because I'm a
yeah
police in
okay.
Peru. That's why.
Yeah, the bribe is um it's for 10 soles maybe or 20 soles.
It's
You
not
can
that
ride
much.
the
It's not that
yes.
much.
Yeah, the ticket is 200 soles and the bribe is 20 soles maybe 10
Uh-huh.
soles 10 20 soles. But they do that all the day. Maybe 20 30 people in a day.
So they can become very rich. You start shopping for Christmas, right? But now, because it's such a commercialized holiday, right? People are there. The day after Thanksgiving is known as Black Friday, and it doesn't have a bad meaning. It just has. It's the day that everybody shops, right? So
Okay.
I don't know why they call it black. They just it's the day that everybody, all of the stores, they have super discounts, everything, 50% off, 75% off, the best electronics, all of the stuff, right? And the now recently after the internet revolution, the Monday following Thanksgiving, so next Monday is considered the Cyber Monday. It's considered Cyber Monday,
Really?
right?
Cyber Monday?
Cyber Monday, yeah, because it's cyberspace, all about shopping online. So all of the big
Okay.
stores, yeah, so all of the big stores that have Black Friday, right? They also do amazing deals on Cyber Monday.
Oh, I've heard about Black Friday, but this is the first time that I've heard Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday, I mean, it's all commercial. It's all commercial. So what you can get for $35 on a normal day, they will sell for $5 on Cyber Monday.
Oh, maybe I can take a look to eBay next
Yeah,
Monday. Yeah, maybe
absolutely.
I
You're gonna
might
save a
save
lot of
something.
money.
Yeah, I might save some money. Maybe
Yeah.
I can save some money. Oh well, we have copy Santa Claus as well,
Papa
and
Noel, right?
yes, Papa Noel, but Papa Noel is in summer here with
Uh-huh.
those heavy clothes with a shiny sun. Can you imagine
Oh,
those
horrible.
poor Papa Noels and all the moles? They're they're having a bad time,
Yeah.
but they have to work.
Everybody needs money for Christmas.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Turkey in Christmas? Or
Turkey, yeah, we also eat turkey during Christmas time. Some people eat turkey during Christmas also. But the idea is generally that, you know, some people joke that the leftover turkey from Thanksgiving is what we will serve at Christmas time.
yeah, it makes sense. I thought that you eat turkey in Christmas because there are many turkeys that have not been killed in Thanksgiving Day, and maybe they are cheaper. That's why you started to eat turkeys in Christmas many years
Yeah.
ago, and now it's a tradition.
Yeah, it's Jose, I would not be surprised if that actually was how it was established. I would not be surprised at all because that they do have that situation. They do have that does happen a lot where certain things become a trend and then they just develop into some kind of a tradition,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
And yeah, we copied that tradition from US to eat in Turkey in Christmas.
Hmm.
Yes, and we don't have a Thanksgiving Day, so we don't have a rest of another party before.
Yeah,
So we
but
copied.
But
Yeah.
Jose, unfortunately, this celebration has become more of a commercial celebration than anything else. I mean, it used to be that Thanksgiving was the unofficial start of the holiday season in the United States. It still is, right? Because there's only about 1 month left until Christmas, and there is maybe there's less than 1 month left after Christmas, and just barely a month and a few days until the New Year, right? So Thanksgiving was kind of the kickoff of the academic or academic. What am I saying? Of the holiday season.
Okay.
So for many years, Thanksgiving was considered to be the time when you start.
Yes. and we have caught and read some of them, but it's like a plague.
What
It's
happens if you
everywhere,
what happens if you catch them red-handed? What happens to them?
and they will be persecuted, and there will be a process and a trial that usually happens nothing. A very low very low, how to say, the
Yeah,
decision.
the decision. Well, so they have the trial, and the person is tried on the basis of the bribery law, right? Because
Yep.
they violated the law against bribery, and then the decision is usually.
Yeah, it's no, but recently, these last years, it has changed a lot. Uh, the punishment is strong. For example, these days they have punished one police with 6 years, 6 years in jail, and he lost his job.
Hmm.
But it is not common. The most common is to accept the bribe. So it is not nothing that it's not that he will tell you very open. It's like a
Hmm.
routine. When the police approach to you, he will tell you that you have made something wrong, and you say, "But how can we fix this? Is there any solution?" And he will say, "Well, maybe I can help you. You know that you have to take some money. You already have to have some money in your hands to make the
Yeah,
movement very fast. It's very fast. They're already trained with those movements."
it's crazy. I mean, it doesn't. I know this happens in my country also in California still, enjoying life in beautiful San Jose. Tomorrow we are going to go to Santa Cruz for Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is our biggest day of eating in the entire year, Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh yeah, yeah, the Thanksgiving Day. And what do you do in that day besides
We just
the dinner?
eat, we cook and eat. That's
Eat,
it. Yeah.
but that takes only 1 or 2 hours. What do you
No,
do?
no, 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 senor.
No
No, it takes maybe 3 to 5 hours. Big meal.
big meals, and what do you do the other hours of the day?
Lots. Oh, the other hours of the day we prepared that meal.
Okay, and then you talk about the dinner.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tomorrow night I'll be teaching Colingo when my friends have dinner, but I will eat after they are finished.
Okay.
Yeah,
For example, in my country, Navidad is a big party,
yeah,
like a training for New Year party.
uh-huh,
Yeah. At the end, everybody's drinking in Christmas. Don't
yeah,
know if it's the same in Thanksgiving Day.
yeah. People do drink a lot. I think it's drinking is one of those things that happens all the time. Unfortunately, it's a problem because some people drink a little too much when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Also, I think there's a lot of drinking, but generally, because it's time to be with family, I think the adults maybe drink after the main meal because they don't want to they don't want to get drunk in front of their family members, you know.
Uh, but there's a party, maybe.
Yeah, there are parties all the time. Yeah, people are throwing dinners and parties everywhere tomorrow, and everybody eats turkey. Tomorrow is the day of turkey.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. And that's
Yeah.
why you eat